Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. After all the shadiness and shenanigans over Nicola Sturgeon not confirming or nor denying that she deleted the messages, the WhatsApps, although of course by not saying anything at all means it's quite clear she has, Humza Yousaf has indeed leapt to her defence. What else is he going to do? But he's been boasting about this and saying about that, generally making himself look like a bit of a dick over it. But we will have a look at this to see what he's been saying and why she held 250 briefings during her time and how nobody has ever sort of maintained any kind of records of any of these briefings, which is very weird. But, we don't expect anything less. There's certainly no sort of honesty, openness or truth going to be coming out anytime soon, is there? Anyway, let's have a look, see what's going on, see what he is saying. Here goes. So, Humza Yousaf defends Nicola Sturgeon's COVID antics as he boasts about her briefings. Never about her briefs, that's for sure. The First Minister was blasted by Douglas Ross for jumping to the defence of his shamed predecessor, who has refused to say whether she deleted vital evidence on WhatsApp, which the COVID inquiry is asking for. And in that refusal, as I say, lies the truth, because we know totally that she has. Because if not, she would come out and say it. And the rules of politics. If they can't say yes, they mean no. Anyway, Humza Yousaf jumped to defend his former boss, Nicola Sturgeon, as he boasted about how she held 250 daily briefings during the COVID pandemic. But she has still refused to say whether she's deleted WhatsApp messages, despite being asked to repeatedly. And of course she won't, she can't. If she says she has, then she's broke the rules and then she can be punished. And if she says she hasn't, then she'll be asked to present them. And so the only defence she's got is to not answer the question. But not answering the question, of course, entirely answers the question. Scottish Tory leader Douglas Ross described this defence as unbelievable, as he asked the First Minister whether she or her officials would face criminal charges if they're found to have wiped their evidence. He pointed out that the policy for deleting social media messages came in after it was announced COVID inquiries would be held. Mr Yousaf relied on his favourite Boris Johnson defence and claimed that the Scottish Government did not hide from the truth. This is despite them being rebuked by the COVID inquiry for refusing to hand over vital evidence last week. So they are entirely hiding from the truth because they know, and I keep saying it, but it is true, the truth is so amazingly damaging to them. He faced damning criticism from Mr Ross, who called his position all over the place. The Scottish Tory leader said in June 2021, the Scottish Government was told to retain messages relevant to the handling of the COVID pandemic. But 5 months later, the SNP introduced a policy to destroy WhatsApp messages, 5 months after the announcement of the independent inquiry, and therefore knowing that they had to keep the evidence. And they made sure that that evidence was utterly destroyed. They hope, and I hope also that it isn't sitting on the servers at Meta and can be picked up and then reissued back to the inquiry. That, of course, would be disastrous, both for the SNP as a whole, but for the likes of Jean Freeman, Humza Yousaf, and of course, ultimately, Nicola Sturgeon, and could end up seeing her in prison for a very, very long time. Why else, of course, would they delete these messages? He said it's the digital equivalent of building a bonfire in the yard to torch the evidence. Why did the SNP bring in a policy to delete messages after they've been told to keep them? Well, we know why, just said, dangerous. The SNP, he said, brought in an auto-delete policy, not just after being told not to by the UK inquiry, but after Nicola Sturgeon had set up a separate Scottish inquiry. She went on television to say she couldn't withhold messages even if she wanted to. But this is Nicola Sturgeon, a liar. Her mouth opens and the horse shit flows out like tea from an urn. Everything she says is sheer bullshit. But this week it was reported that Nicola Sturgeon has deleted her WhatsApp messages. We know nothing or withholding evidence from an inquiry. We know destroying or withholding evidence from an inquiry is illegal. So, does Humza Yousaf accept that if Nicola Sturgeon or any government minister has destroyed WhatsApp messages relevant to the inquiry, that they would be breaking the law? Well, that's put him on the spot, hasn't it? How does he answer? Well, we'll have a look. The First Minister moved to defend his former boss and said, "Let me just remind Douglas Ross and indeed the Chamber in terms of accountability and transparency." No, how about just answering the question? Did she break the law? Oh no, too hard. Let's answer a different question. We all know how that works. He said Nicola Sturgeon stood up day after day, virtually every day, making 250 media briefings, 70 parliamentary statements, with full accountability, full transparency, answering questions from the media. That's fine, let's have that full transparency. Let's see the WhatsApps. Come on, you can do it. You know you can do it. He said, "I'm absolutely committed. This government is absolutely committed to being transparent, to being accountable, because we want the truth to be heard." Like hell you do. That's the last thing you want. But not just by the public, but particularly families who are bereaved by COVID. We certainly don't have anything to fear from the truth. Again, complete lie. We all know it is complete lie. He says, "I suspect the Conservatives absolutely do." No, I don't think so, mate. You are the one that has connived to hide and destroy evidence because you know it will put people in jail. Mr. Ross added, "I cannot believe that Humza Yousaf has just stood up and in the strongest possible way defended Nicola Sturgeon, who's been accused of deleting WhatsApp messages. The law is clear. Deleting evidence required by an inquiry is a criminal offence." Under questioning by Scottish Labour leader Anna Sawar, Mr. Yousaf could not say whether any of his government colleagues at the time had done what he did in submitting his unredacted WhatsApps. And if you believe that his WhatsApps are unredacted and released in full, then, you know, there's no hope for you. This means he could not confirm if Miss Sturgeon had complied with the do not destroy instruction. Of course she can't. She has destroyed everything she had to. She'd rather be punished for destroying evidence than go to jail for 30 years for the murder of 5,500 elderly people. The genocide, the crime against humanity that may well yet happen if those WhatsApps are obtained from Meta. Who knows? But we'll bloody well want to find out, won't we? Anyway, I shall round off and come up and we'll finish the video. There you go. What an utter bunch of lies. The thing is, the guy can't even answer a straight question. Do you accept that destroying evidence is a crime? Oh, let me answer a completely different question. Because he can't even say destroying evidence is a crime, because admitting that would mean that later on he'd say, "Well, I've already admitted that it's a crime, and so if it turns out that Nicola Sturgeon deleted evidence, then I've already confirmed that she's broken the law." Panic stations. These people are so snide, so sneaky. They can't tell the truth. This is the SNP. They must never, ever, ever tell the truth. They get into a habit of just lying about everything because the truth is so dangerous. We need to get them all arrested, locked up, and hope to God these WhatsApps come out. I hope to God they prove crimes against humanity. I hope to God they prove that there was a conspiracy to basically commit genocide of the elderly for political expediency, and that these people go to jail for the rest of their lives. Oh well, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Till next time, stay safe, stay well, and let's just keep watching this because the truth has got to come out one day. Thank you and goodbye.